Hey, this is Pastor Dave Gable back with you here on our YouTube channel for another message. I want to take a minute today just to mention if you are in the Gowanda area on Sunday mornings and are looking for a home church to fellowship with and hear the Word, we would be more than delighted to have you here at Gowanda Assembly of God. We're located at 78 Allen Street and our services start at 10 a.m. You know, everybody's life has that set of songs that just inspire or take you back to a memory. Today we're going to talk a little bit about that and how the songs that God actually has given us in His Word ought to be some of the ones that move us the most. So grab a coffee, pen and pad, sit down, and let's get into the Word. Okay, let's read Matthew 11:15 together. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Does that sound familiar? Because I think it's been up here. It's been up at least 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. But that is never, ever going to fade in its importance in our lives. If you have a pair of ears, or if you can't read but He's given you eyes to see words, He's expecting you to listen. And He's expecting your heart to be ready to listen to His voice. If you're not taking moments regularly to just stop and ponder, what is it He would like me to be impressed with? What direction does He want my heart going? If you're not pausing and doing that, you're probably missing a lot. You probably could get around some of those times when you're like, man, I just wish I had a clue what He's doing or where I'm going. And He's like, hello, been talking to you the whole time, but I'm not going to yell. Might make you trip over some stuff. Might throw a stick under your feet so you trip a little bit so you open your eyes. And what was that? He's like that. He'll do that. But He wants you to listen. Okay. Just to prove to you that what you hear is a big deal and makes a huge impression, I'm going to play you a couple of clips and see if you recognize them and can tell me where you are when these things happen. Number one. Okay, you recognize that. You're in front of your TV or you're playing a video game, but everybody recognizes the beginning of the Star Wars theme. Okay, let's try another one. Where are you? You're either getting married or you're watching the bride and groom walk down their married into the back, right? Everybody knows what that is. How about this one? I asked Madison if she was going to be in here because I was going to say, that's right, you're in the gym with Madison when you hear this song. Like, this is the gym song. Nobody listens to this in the gym. No one listens to this in the gym, right? Listen to this in the gym. Like when I go to the gym, which I haven't been in a long time. I just saw my gym buddy at the football field the other day, and I was like, yep, almost 2 months now. I should see me anytime. You listen to that because it's motivating. Okay, one more. Where are you? Thank you, nobody, for standing up and shaking it. Okay? All right. You're at a wedding reception, and you're looking around for that relative that's usually slosh, right? That's where you are. You all can picture this. Why is it that music does that in a way that so many other things don't? Because music is hooked to emotions. Music inspires, or music makes you cry. There are songs that if I played them and put up some pictures of puppies or babies, you would bawl. Because they do that. If I put up Eye of the Tiger and show you a little kid, you're like, that kid needs a spanking. There's different motivations in different songs, right? But they impact your life on purpose. The songs that are hits, the songs that you remember, the music matches the message, okay? Why am I even talking about this? Where is this? Anybody recognize? Now, if you're not younger, if you're a lot younger than me, you're not going to have a clue what this is. Super Bowl 25. We're not going to talk about Norwood, any of that, okay?
Everybody who sees this picture, you don't even have to hear anything. You remember, if you heard it, hearing this, because the U.S. was involved in the Persian Gulf. We were at war. It was right after 9/11 happened. And Whitney Houston comes out at the Super Bowl and sings probably the greatest ever rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner that's ever been sung. Now, what's odd to me is when I pop this picture up, it takes about a minute for my brain to register that there are issues going on surrounding this song. Did any of you forget about that until I just mentioned it? That today at football games, there will be issues going on around this song. Because that memory, if you heard this song when it was done originally or have heard it since, and I've listened to it a few times since, was so powerful that it even overrides the drama of what's going on today when you think about it. It was beautiful. Remember how she ended it? And the home of the brave, and it went 3 steps in brave, and the jets flew. It was like this amazing, like hair stand up on the back of your neck moment. It was awesome. And then you let it sink for a couple minutes, then you think, oh yeah, there's drama going on around this song. Songs hit you in moments of your life. There are songs that come on that you remember things from 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, that were these poignant moments of your life. This is the very first song in the Bible. Do you know Psalms, the book of Psalms, is a collection of music. It's a collection of songs. These are songs that were sung. And I'm going to suggest to you that there is some significance in the fact that what Psalm 1 says, God chose to make the very first thing he said in music, in his word. Now, at the time a lot of this was penned, people would have been familiar with the music that went with this. We aren't. There isn't a song we have today that's exactly these words. But this was music. God intended this to impact your life. So as we read through it today and talk a little bit about it, I want you to treat this as something that can and should impact your life in much the same way the beginning of a song sets your mind on something. Okay? Let me read it. It said, "Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers, but his delight is in the law of the Lord. And on his law he meditates day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in its season, and its leaf does not wither. In all that he does, he prospers. The wicked are not so, but are like chaff that the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish." Let's take this one piece at a time. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked. What does that mean? It's really probably pretty simple. The decisions we make in our lives all have reasons. Some of them are subconscious, and some of them are very conscious, but there are reasons. Did you know that the Atlanta airport was specifically designed to move people without signs? They find that when they put a sign on the wall, people read them, and it actually slows the traffic down. So if you're ever in the Atlanta airport, pay attention to which way the floor tiles go and what colors are in what directions. They literally know that you're going to be looking for specific cues if you have bags to check versus if you don't. Even the conveyors, the people conveyors, are not meant to get you anywhere faster. They're meant to make it simple. Think of this. If you are going to eventually have to pull out your ticket again to see what gate you're at, but right now you're walking and dodging in and out of people, you're not going to pull that out. You're going to have to, when you get there, stop, pull it out. That stop causes problems. So they make things easy. Now, our enemy is purposely trying to set our lives up so that we don't think, so that we just naturally move in a specific direction. But this says, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked. In this world, we are surrounded by visual cues on commercials. I always think of Have It Your Way, Burger King. This world suggests that, listen, it ought to be quick and easy and what you want and feel good with no problems or bumps, because that's how it should be. Last night, Daniel is like, I want to eat something or drink something. That's what he says. I said, well, you can have some more dinner or you can have a drink of water, but you've been slugging milk all day, so you can't have any more milk. And he's like, I don't want to have more dinner and drink water. I'm not going to do that. And then he'll like, I'm going to eat a banana. And he won't say it loud. But from the time we're little, we are looking for a program that is easy, that feels good at every turn. But we can't live our lives that way. We can't. We have to look to Him. People are going to tell you all kinds of things in your life. People are going to give you suggestions that are not biblical. Okay? I'm going to hit it again. There are posts on Facebook all over the place that sound great. No matter what comes into your life, just believe in you. It's just not true. You need to believe in you from the perspective of your loving, passionately loving, planned ahead explosions in your life for good things, God's perspective. That's how you need to believe in. That's what believe in you is. But just what you want and what you feel. The Bible says your heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Your heart will tell you, just believe in you. He doesn't love you. God wants you to be happy. Go over with that guy. Lie. It's a complete lie. But if all you see is, oh, believe in me, I need to live. That is not God's perspective. It is not God's perspective. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners. What does that mean? What is standing in the way of sinners? If the only place you ever put yourself is where the influence of people who don't know God surrounds you, guess what? You are standing in the way of sinners. You're standing in the river of life that, and I don't mean the river of life like that flows from God. I'm talking about the river of all that life is. It's more like when you watch a video of the tsunamis and there's just trash floating up the road. That's what the river of their life really is. They just don't know that that's what it is. But you're standing in that, and I think it's completely naive to think that those things are not going to move you. They are going to move you. There's a song called Slow Fade. Marriages don't crumble in a day. People don't become evil things in a day. It's a slow fade. I thought of something the other day, and it was a real simple saying. It was something along the lines of, I am going to refuse to do something today that I wouldn't do yesterday. Because if I do, then tomorrow I will do something I wouldn't do today. Does that make sense? If there's something you wouldn't do yesterday, you probably better stick with that. Because if you change it for today, not a big deal, then get hit by a meteor, I could probably jump that up a little bit tomorrow. And before you know it, you find yourself in a place where somebody says, hey, what's going on in your life? And you're like scrambling to explain when it didn't seem that bad in the move, right? Nor sits in the seats of scoffers, kind of along the same lines. Don't spend your time in the river that everybody else in this fallen world is floating down. And when you relax and kick back, don't be there either. Don't fill your life with that. Don't let that be where you relax. All right? But his delight is in the law of the Lord. What's the law of the Lord? His word. His word. So this is saying, blessed is the man whose primary motivator and decision-making source in life is this. That but means all this stuff, but bing. Blessed is the man who does not get his bearings, his decision-making, his opinion on everything in life from the world and the sludge around him. But his delight is in the law of the Lord. And on his law he meditates day and night. What does it mean to meditate day and night? I want to be careful with this one. Does not necessarily mean this. It does not necessarily mean you are reading his word day and night. You have to read it in order to meditate on it. But it is not saying, hey, you got a 20-minute break at work, pull out the Bible. Now, if you can do that, do it. But it doesn't mean be just like every single second you can be reading this, be reading it. You can overdo that. What it means is to be contemplating and thinking about what you have read in this word. It literally means that all day. And when you're falling asleep at night, there's been times when I've said, Lord, teach me something give me a dream, teach me something while I'm sleeping. My mind is yours while it's off. I would love to dream about how amazing you are. But when you're at work, is there something in the back of your mind that you're kind of chewing on that his word has said? In the day, is there something you're chewing on? The crazy thing you got to realize is when that is true, when there is something that you've been chewing on out of his word, you're going to dig deeper, you're going to be changed by it, and the natural thing to talk about with friends, especially friends who need something to chew on, is going to be that thing. It happens all the time where I'll have a sermon planned and 4 or 5 people will get my perspective on what I'm going to be preaching on during the week because I can't help but go there in a conversation because it's alive, it's in my mind, it's going on right now. But his delight is in the law of the Lord. His delight, I mean, he can literally make this something that is so life-changing that you're drawn to it. It doesn't say their discipline is the law of the Lord. They're finding a way. Keep on keeping on is the law of the Lord. It says their delight is the law of the Lord because there are real answers there. You want peace? It's there. Yesterday, I had a moment. Just some different circumstances came up, and I find myself suddenly in a dark place. And what I mean by that is all of a sudden, my brain starts to compare me with, well, that guy's doing that. Oh, well, that guy, I'm not doing that well. I'm just going to stink at church tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to do the song. And then pretty soon I'm like, what am I even doing? Why am I even trying? Some of you know what it's like to deal with a once in a while slip into depression or a pretty often slip into depression. And I understand what it's like to be like, I just can't get out of this. So in that place, I just decided I'm going to do this little task outside, a couple of the boys, and we went and did that. But what I'm learning right now is, for me, those times don't last forever. And what I'm believing, what's hitting my mind in those places is bull. It's a lie. It feels right. It feels real. It feels completely true. But I know that if I say, Lord, I know you're going to pull me out of this. In an hour or two, I won't feel this way. I'm going to choose to somehow begin to move in that direction. And within a couple of hours, I felt better. And I don't get as angry. And I don't get as frustrated, and I'm not weighing myself against people so much anymore. And I'm coming to the place where, as he leads me and where this whole church is moving in the next year, 2 years, not everybody's going to agree with what we're called to and where we're moving. Fine. That's okay. There's going to be things I screw up. You all say, that's okay. We don't care. All right, we're all on the same page. But if I don't do that, I will worry about every single detail, and every time something gets messed up or I don't do a good job or somebody doesn't approve of me, I crash, and it takes about a couple of weeks to pull me back out of the gutter and kind of get back on the road and start moving again. And if I'm naive enough to think that my enemy isn't going to try throwing sticks in the spokes and discouraging me, I would be dumb to think that. So I'm learning, I'm listening. What has God said about my life? I'm trusting in that. I'm in this spot because He put me here. I need to trust in that. Right? And you guys are here because He's drawn you here. And He's going to motivate you to invite other people here. And for some of them, it will be their home. And for some of them, they'll hear a message that motivates them to plug in somewhere that is their home. That's okay. But there's stuff to do, and I want to be excited about going that way, so I'm growing. This stuff is changing my life. I keep flipping back to Whitney Houston. Look at this. He is like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in its season, and its leaf does not wither. A little point here. When you're plugged in, and you know His Word, and you know what He said to your life, and you're walking in that direction, there's going to be days when you don't bear much fruit. This verse says that which bears its fruit in its season. There are days that are just a bunch of work, maybe not a whole lot of fruit. Heard something recently about our relationship with Him. A marriage relationship has its moments that have intimate moments. But the everyday of a marriage is a give and take. It's caring enough about the other person to do work for them. I'm going to toot my own horn here for a second. Just as an example, I did something good. I'm going to let you see it for you, not for me. This is for you. So this week, my sister called me and said, hey, my sister Emily bought 4 tickets to the Casting Crowns concert. Keith and Gabe, my nephew and brother-in-law, weren't going to go. Would you like to go with us? Now, I've had some opportunity to get out in the fresh air and get totally recharged in the past couple of weeks, and I'm like, Sarah needs that. So I asked them if they would be willing to take her instead of me, and she went and did that last night. But that's part of like caring enough to put the person who hasn't had a break in so she can have a break, right? In your marriage, you ought to be looking for ways to bless your spouse, okay? I don't do that all the time. There are lots of days when she's washing the dishes and I'm sitting on the couch. That's true. That's just true. It's her job. I mean, you know. I feel knives flying through there. Okay, but seriously, if you want your marriage to be happy, be thankful for what you do have and look for ways to bless your spouse with no strings. Why? Because gifts don't have strings. That's a wage. If you're in your marriage for wages, they ain't going to work. You need to give gifts, and gifts don't have strings. You don't take them back when the person isn't nice and didn't give you a card and say thank you. Okay, how dare they? His life is like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit when it's time to yield fruit. When is that? He knows. He knows when the fruit's ripe. He knows when it's going to happen. He knows when your kid's going to have a breakthrough in math that you've been busting your brain with them for the past month. He knows. He will bring it about in His time, okay? And its leaf does not wither. Here's a cool thing. Now this, I hope that when you read scriptures, you rip them apart like this. What's up with its leaf does not wither? What do leaves do? Anybody know? What does a leaf do? Besides wither and fall off. Leaves create energy. They create food. They add oxygen to the atmosphere. But for the tree, they're doing photosynthesis. They are actually creating nutrients and stuff for that tree. Which means not only do you bear fruit, but when you're planted in His Word, you maintain the ability to take in the light and make something with it. If you're not planted by a river of water, which is the Word, your ability to hear Him and take in what He's shining on your life is not going to recharge you. You're going to lose that ability. Those leaves are going to fall off, and you're going to be a dead tree. Good for nothing but to be cut up and made into baseball bats or furniture or toothpicks. I don't want to be a toothpick. I want to stay by the river. Toothpicks have to do stuff, and I want to stay by the river. In all that he does, he prospers. This one's tricky. When all that you do has its source in the law of the Lord, in the voice of the Lord, in his pull on your life, and what he has said, you will prosper. This does not mean do all these things, wage, I can do whatever I want. I've been planted by the rivers of living water, and I delight in the law of the Lord, so I'm going to play the Powerball. That's how this works. That's not how it works. In fact, the Bible gives us context on this. You have not because you ask not, and when you do ask, you ask so that you can spend it on your own passions and desires. This is a whole different thing. The wicked are not so. We could pretty much leave it right there. The wicked have everything the opposite of what we've just been talking about. So if there are days in your life that are that, then this may be why. Is your delight in the law of the Lord, is it something you're chewing on? Let me just make one distinction real quick. Righteous and wicked depends on what? Are you inside the door or are you not? The only thing that makes anyone righteous is a dependent trust on the blood of Christ, his plan, and his love for you. That will pull you to the Word. Nobody is wicked or righteous because of what they've done. We are all wicked because of what we have done. There is none righteous, no, not one, for no one will be justified by righteous works of the law. All our righteousnesses are as filthy rags. The Bible is littered with Scripture telling us that righteousness is his. And if we're righteousness, it's because we're his, not because we did good, right? Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous, for the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. I want this to be a song in your life that inspires you. I hope this is a song that's running through your head in the morning and in the evening, and it's changing things. I can say that he has changed me in the last couple of years. I'm not the same person. There's been times when I've been talking to Sarah in situations where I would normally be very frustrated, and I feel like I have to say, I'm actually not upset. I just want to talk through this spot. Something's different than it was. And these are things that I remember 20 years ago battling with. And they're different. They've changed. There's more peace, more joy, more internal permission to not have to work every minute and to actually breathe. I actually discovered that if I do something on a Monday, like if I, say, ride a motorcycle a couple of 100 miles, nobody dies. Yeah, I noticed that. Nobody will die if I relax. That is a novel thought in my life. I didn't know that until just recently. I'm being facetious, but seriously, my guts screamed, oh, you're on the golf course, which I didn't do at all this year. You're on the golf course, somebody's got to be mad at you somewhere. You forgot something. You didn't do something. Somebody's got to be mad. When you get home, you'll find out, but have fun now. You can't, right? You can't have fun.
As we wrap up another sermon, I hope you'll be inspired, as I always hope you'll be inspired, to dig into God's Word, for I believe with all my heart that it is the foundational thing that can change all of life and set you on a path that you were designed by your Creator to live, that you would find Jesus Christ, and the fact that we all need to realize our own sin, repent, and turn to his blood shed on the cross to save us for all eternity. I pray blessing on your life, and that, again, you would dig into his word, and that song would change you more than any other. Have a super week.